back, boys and girls. It's time to open the gates of adventure and mystery to the land of Mythaville. Chapter 20, going back to where it all started. I stood up in the white void once more. A corridor of white pillars appeared around me. I strode past my restored memories. The world rippled behind every footstep I took. As the figure of my mom appeared in front of a house with an unkept lawn, she stated, "Sorry, it's time for you to go home. You're back with your dad and sister." As Gordon blew in the coach, with the silver whistle appeared, playing stuck in the backyard. The boy Blue sat on the porch with Mom and Blue. "Oh, Silas, I'm always proud of you, no matter what you do in this world, or the modern one," added Ellis as the memory faded away. "We were truly the Golden Hearts, Si," exclaimed Valdor as he and King Henry approached out of the blue mist. These two men told me a lot of great stories about your adventures in Mythaville," praised Ellis as I thought about everything that had occurred in my 20 years stay in Mythaville. Even though only 20 hours had passed in Medallion City, I was ready to go back home and see my family again. I hopped out of my king-size bed into my lace sleeping clothes and stared at the tattered remains of my old gray robe laying near a silver rimmed mirror. Instead of putting the red cape back on, I wore my old robe once more. I strode down the spiral stairs. Adele and the other servants were cleaning up the trail of destruction that Kel and Kyle left behind them. I stood in front of the black crown that lay on the table. Asked, "What will you do with the dangerous relic?" "I don't know, but we'll come up with something," answered Delora as he brought some. "Hey, Si! Sharpen the bridge just left," said Robert from the throne room. As they approached the front door with Robert, Laura ran in for a hug. "Here is a secret I forgot to tell you. Go to the palace with the dancing flowers to go back home," instructed Delora as me and Robert stepped out of the castle and into the bustling market. I was stupid-eyed and bolted out of the florist shop. I saw a temple woman chase after them. A skeleton cloud disappeared in a cloud of purple smoke. The floor said, "I'm tired of dealing with these twins." "Yep, our resident princess turned into quite a pest, but a change has to be made around here at some point," said the rescue as he climbed over his blood-stained booth with a stainless steel axe. "These incompetent royals ignored us long enough," agreed the gravelly blacksmith as he crossed his black steel sword with the rusted axe. "If they won't change, let's force the change ourselves," pressed the floors as he pulled the black rose from her auburn hair as I tried to lower the intense anger from those three. Me Robert stepped past the lightly armored guards and stood at the front gate of his kingdom. As he traversed through the rotting forest, the door of his mind appeared ahead. As the face flew around the giant's frozen eggs, I asked, "What's going on here?" "Where's me dwarf? Eggs? We spotted after 30 years," was the voice of Feline as Lewis and Hugh got the pile of pickaxes out of the tree. "Yep, that's about dozen new dwarves here," amused Hugh as he and Lewis dropped the magic pick in front of the mannequin. "After they hatch, we will have to build even more cottages," grumbled Lewis as the dragon swooped down. After traveling many more fairy blows off the dragon, he said, "Come on, we can help you build, like we did back in Hometon." The fairy-blessed fairies dwarves got straight to work. Me and Robert traveled out of the changing forest and into the Flower Valley, the same valley that I came from 20 years ago. As the multitude of flowers danced in the setting sun, a bright blue portal appeared on the hill above. "Si, are you ready to go back home?" asked Robert as I looked back onto the path I had walked before. Even only 20 years had passed in Medallion City, I was ready to go back home. See my feeling once more. As not in agreement, me and Robert stepped through the portal and back home. As we appeared along an intersection, the portal disappeared in front of a graffitied bridge. Beside the graffiti of a dwarf, troll, goblin, and fairy underneath the bridge. Will we ever have another adventure in that world again? Well, I hope we will someday. Until then, let's be kids, answered Robert as we strolled through Dr. Elias Elementary. As we parted ways, we traversed through a neighborhood filled with dilapidated houses and strays. Stepped past another rusty swing set on an unkept line, knocked on the door. As Moses and Celeste opened the door, and this was the place I belonged to for now. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, buy my books on Amazon, and have a magical day!